Hello everybody. Hello everyone. Today I am actually going to be boxing up these little darlings. So I thought, look, we're just going to get going. And anyway, I thought maybe you might just want to watch. I have to find something to do. I can no longer sit inside. I really am getting very bored. So anyway, I need to do this. So as many of you know, I've been sick, hence why I haven't really done very much. But anyway, today we have to box these up. So it is worth just coming on and boxing these up. So as I did say, you know, sitting inside in my bed, not feeling 100%, is making me so bored and it's a bit depressive. So anyway, I watched a video that says get up, even if you're not feeling 100%, get up and you know, you'll make yourself feel better by doing something. So anyway, I do agree. So these are my new beautiful soaps. They have cured now, so this is what they look like. I've actually, these ones are essential oils that's it's got wintergreen, pine, a little lavender and lemon in them. So they really do smell beautiful. It makes the whole room smell gorgeous. And it is actually, the colorant is spirulina. So I had to use quite a bit of spirulina to keep that. And you can already see how the salt's kind of making it go white in places. I actually think these may go whiter. So I'll have to find a new solution next time. You know, to kind of color them. So anyway, that's driving me a little bit crazy, and it is warm in Australia, so I have my air conditioner on today. So anyway, that's what I'm doing with these ones. These are my new boxes. Lots of you have probably seen these already that I had made. The company that made these are called Printing Blue. They make them for, I think they send them all over the world. They're just an Australian company, but anyway, that's what I've used on these ones. And in the future, I am actually going to get some beautiful boxes so that when the card boxes come out to people, then they'll have my labels and things like that on. So that will be a bit fun, won't it? So anyway, that's what I'm doing today. And while I'm doing this, I'll show you what I do when I box them. So here I do have my scale, and what I like to do, not all the time, but just every now and then, so we'll just tear this scale out if it's going to be nice and work. Sometimes they're not happy because this is just my cheap scale in here. And what I do is I'm going to actually just measure some of them, because you want to just make sure that they're going to be the volume that you say, which it is. This one says 135 and I sell them as 130 and they're cured. So, and that's why I say when you pour them and cut them, they need to weigh like 150 or something like that. Every now and then you'll get one that's not the right weight. That one's fine. Even the ones that are a little slimmer like this, they are still over the weight that I've said. So anyway, and I'll show you these boxes and I'll tell you the measurements as well. So they should just fit like this. Now this is a salt bar, so I'm not going to go and cut all the edges. I mean, you can just kind of wipe any salt off, but I'm not going to do that. We're just literally going to put them like that. Oh, nice to, oh, thank you, Julie. Yeah, look, Julie, I was saying before, like, honestly, I'm getting depressed lying in bed. I am not a good patient. On my back, I still do have the bandages, which I get off after Christmas. And for anyone watching that doesn't know, I've actually been diagnosed with skin cancer. So, but you know, look, luckily for me, they got it early. So, so it was, you know, I actually thought this, you know, and it's funny because when people talk about skin cancer, I didn't realize that there were so many things that you could kind of like, well, I guess sort of signs. And like my back was driving me crazy in one spot. It was so itchy. It was driving me absolutely mental for about 6 months. And it was skin cancer growing, which I didn't know that that was a thing for that. So anyway, so off I went. Well, I didn't even go to the doctor for that. I went for a sore foot and then she sent me to the clinic and they found it. So anyway, that was a little bit about that, but I don't want to be negative. I mean, you know, Santa's going to hit the building soon. So we have to be positive. And I live in a country that puts a lot of money towards skin cancer because Australia has the highest rates in the world of skin cancer. So, but anyway, I've had the surgery, and we'll see how we go, and fingers crossed that it's all good. But so like I said, today is about these beautiful salt bars. So they are called Pine Salt Stream is their name. And look, you know, and this is the thing, I think when we make soap, sometimes I think, you know, we write, for instance, lavender and lemon. Like, it doesn't have to be a boring name. You can think of a fun name. And I do watch a lot of podcasts and a lot of YouTube on people that have made it big in soap or cosmetic industry with little money and how they've done it. And they always say things like that, like, think outside the box. Don't just give your product a boring, basic name. So, you know, thank you, Julie, my love. Yeah, so I do think that too. And, you know, some of my most popular products, like Barry's Daughter, it has a name that intrigues people. And you know, every time that I'm at like a festival or anything, even in my daughter's shop, people say, wow, Barry's Daughter, what does that smell like? And you'll be amazed how many people say, my dad's name's Barry and I'm his daughter, so I want to buy it. Now, they would never have picked up that product if I just called it Blueberry and Rose. So I hope that kind of makes sense. So that gives you a little bit of an insight on why you should call your products different names. And I thought, rather than me just packing this up, you know, we'll just kind of have a chat about a few things as well. And hopefully I give you some kind of an insight into things. And I watched a lady today. Look, I can't remember her name. I'll go and look it up. She was very inspirational. And she's a millionaire now, but she actually, one of the ladies that she was interviewing was brought up in a caravan park, which I guess in America you call it a trailer park, and now she's a millionaire. So anyway, she was just saying you can do this from anywhere, just depends on your drive, I guess, and how much you're willing to do. So anyway, that was very interesting. I found that really, really interesting. Sometimes I'll have to peel off the sides if there's a little salt, otherwise it won't go in the box very well. But anyway, I'll put that on Patreon, everyone. So, but anyway, I watched her this morning and I really did enjoy that. Sorry, darling, say that comment again. I didn't actually see it because I was too busy looking at the soap. But yeah, so anyway, there's lots of inspirational ladies and gents, you know, don't forget the men. There's some men that are very good in this industry doing things. So, but it is really interesting just watching other people, you know. My biggest suggestion, honestly, surround yourself with people that have made it or are trying to make it and that have positive mindsets. That's the way to make any business work. If I had to listen to people at the start, I would never have done this. So many people said, oh, that's ridiculous. No one's going to make money out of soap. No one's going to buy your soap. They can buy it in the shopping centre, was what I was told a lot. Anyway, but I do sell a lot of soap and, you know, a lot of other products, obviously. So soap's not my biggest seller either. So, yeah, candles are my biggest seller, which is funny too, because lots of people said don't make candles, you're never going to sell any. Too many people make them. But, you know, if you do something different, you never know where you'll go. So, and you know what? If I said to a wealthy person, don't do it, heaps of people have done it, they'd laugh and do it anyway because they don't listen. So, hopefully that makes sense anyway. So I don't know what it is at the moment. It's probably around 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock, maybe something like, I don't know. Maybe it's later than that in the day. It might be, because I think my husband was having lunch on our veranda out the back. But yeah, so anyway, this is what I've been up to. So I didn't actually make any soap in between, like getting my treatment and surgery and stuff like that. Yeah, I didn't make anything. Oh, what kind of soap is that I'm packaging? Yeah, sure, Julie. So this is a salt bar. I did actually put the recipe on Patreon. So if you want the recipe, go over there and check it out. I know you're on my Patreon, Julie, so you'll probably see it. Just go into recipes. So this is a salt bar. It is actually naturally, what was I going to say? Sorry, it's naturally colored with spirulina, and it is made with essential oils which have pine, wintergreen, a little lavender, and lemon myrrh in it. It smells really nice. I made a test batch a couple months back now, and I think that's a recipe that I did online. And my daughters and my husband love it. The good thing with salt bar is a salt bar will actually last longer as well. So it's not, because it has salt in it, the salt keeps it harder. And then obviously, you know, it's got salt and lots of coconut. So what you need to do is super fat that to a really high super fat, over 20. I think I super fatted this to about 21. So, yeah, but it's a beautiful, beautiful soap. Honestly, I'm going to be honest, I reckon this has become my favorite soap. And I never thought I would ever make a salt bar, but very popular. I've sold out of salt bars. So I will put these ones on. I just haven't popped these salt bars on my site yet, as you'll know, because of me being sick. So I just really haven't had much of a chance to do that. But, you know, if you want to make it in an industry, I suggest you go to conferences, you know, that have like-minded people. Go to join some groups. When I say groups, I don't mean Facebook groups. I mean, there might be soap making groups or cosmetic groups in your area. Have a look if there's people that do meetups. That's actually a really good idea, meetups. I've met up with lots of people. So if anyone's out Warragul way, always tell me if you're out this way, and I'm happy to come and have a coffee with any of you. So, because I'm out in the southeast of Melbourne, in the Gippsland region. So if you're out this way, let me know. And yeah, love to have a meetup. I've had a meetup with a few soap makers now, which has been lovely. So yeah, so that's what I've been doing, and I have been resting. Like I said earlier, I have had my surgery, so for skin cancer. And anyway, I won't get the final results back. Like, I know it's skin cancer, but then they take it out, so I won't get those results back till after Christmas. But either way, we'll see, won't we? Yeah, and I sometimes go on TikTok a bit at the moment. I do, and look, I know this is a job for me, but I really do enjoy it. So it's kind of also like a hobby. I do really like it. And I do feel like I've helped people in the industry. Because when I started, honestly, there was a lot of things to show you how to make soap and things like that. There wasn't a lot of videos to show you how you actually get a business off the ground in soap making. You know, like, yeah, so it's one of those things. Thank you for the love hearts, lovelies. So yeah, anyway, so that's kind of why I try and do little videos, and sometimes I just come live I don't really announce it, because people can watch that later if they want to watch it. I'll save them later. So I hope everyone's ready for Christmas. I hope you're, and I'm sorry if it's not a perfect view. I mean, I know you don't really need to see my head, but anyway, I moved it a bit closer so I can read the comments. Because you're on a stand here, so I have the tripod, and it was like, I don't know, a meter from me maybe. So yeah, so what I do with these as well, everyone, is I use the same mold. So the mold I actually use is one that I get from Aussie Soap Supplies. I've used slab molds, I've done all that, but anyway, it's just a hassle. So honestly, I prefer just to use a loaf mold now. It is a much bigger loaf mold. It's their largest one. I think it's called the extra large. And it does fit in my oven on an angle because I only have a single oven. So if you have a double oven, you'll be able to fit it in there. And salt bars need to go in the oven to help you cut it better. So you can leave them on the bench, but it's just a bit more tricky. but putting it in the oven saves time. Salt bars are a little more tricky. You can't just leave them. They have to be cut within an hour of being made, usually. And then, of course, you know, you've got to cure them for a while. But yeah, so, and sometimes what I do too is they might be cured for, say, like a month at the back. And then what I do is I'll put them in the box and I'll leave the lids open, just to let any extra cure, but I mean, it's already cured anyway. And salt bars, you need to make sure it's in a really dry room. If it's not in a dry room, you'll actually see the water leak out because, remember, salt attracts water. So, like, you can see these are dry. There's no water on them. But the first few days you may see water just dripping off them. But that's fine. Just leave them and they, you know, the water will evaporate. Because when I first made them, I was like, oh, no. But yeah, and hopefully in the future, my plan is for all of my soaps, they'll have individual different coloured boxes. But to start with, I wanted to do just the same box so that way I could afford it. Because otherwise it's thousands of dollars to get one for each box. And the one thing with being diagnosed with skin cancer has taught me is, like, maybe not to do as much with products, but, you know, like, to define something that I love. Do I make the boxes? No, I don't make the boxes, Judith. I get these made from a company called Printing Blue in Australia. There's also Odin Printing, are very good and really affordable. They do really small batches as well. And Odin Printing are actually giving away 50 custom-made boxes at the conference in 2025 in January. And look out, sorry, not January, it's going to be May next year in Brisbane. So please look out, everyone, because what we're doing is because I am not well, we are looking at maybe condensing everything into one longer day. But I don't know. We'll see. But anyway, so I'll start to have tickets on there soon. It'll be cheaper. So you'll be able to get all the information. You'll be able to meet all of the speakers. And the price will be $240 a ticket, which includes lunch. So that's really exciting. We're trying our best to see what we can do. And then we'll see what we can do on the second day. That may be a workshop or something. But you can buy a ticket for just the speakers. At the start, and maybe day 2 we will have like more of a party or something. Yeah, because that's the idea of a conference, isn't it? Just talking to people. So if you want to go to that, go over to the Australian Soaping and Candle Conference and see. And I know that I do have people even coming from Europe that have already bought tickets. So that's really exciting. So that will be May, don't quote me on this date, but I think it's the 18th. It's the Saturday, May. It's either the 18th or 19th. Anyway, and you'll see some of my products in person. You'll be able to buy it if you want to, or just have a look and touch and see. We'll have some suppliers there as well. Craft 360 will be there. Anyway, all exciting, isn't it? So let's box this up. If you want to see more information about things I do, you can join me on Patreon too. And yeah, but I've had a few people asking me, they've said, oh, because you've got cancer, will you actually be continuing doing this? And 100% I will be doing this to the last breath I take. Because I do really enjoy it. Like, you can't just feel sorry for yourself and sit on the couch. Like, you know, you've got to find things you really love. Life's too short and you never know what could happen. I mean, I could get a cold and be sick and that's it. So, just so happened that I got what many Australians get, which is skin cancer, which is melanoma is what I have. I'm thinking I might actually do a video on that because I've got some images of it. But but I'll have to put a disclaimer before because it doesn't look pretty. But anyway, I thought maybe I will do something like that, and it may actually help other people to go and get a skin check. So go and get a skin check, and don't go sunbaking, everybody. And mine is because my skin was so damaged from the 80s of not wearing sunscreen. That's really what it is. And of course, I didn't get a check, and then it had gone from like stage 0 to stage 1 already. Oh, now this is one that's interesting. Can you kind of see this? Aw, thank you, my love. Thank you. That's so nice. If you can see this, can you see how this looks a little orange? That little orangey bit there. The one thing that I do think is really interesting about that is what salt does. So it's taking away the green and I reckon it's going to go this color. This time I added a lot of spoons of spirulina, like 5 tablespoons, I think, of spirulina to this mix, and it still did that. So I just think it's the salt. So I'll still add this spirulina because I do think it's a nice product to add in it, but it just may not, you know, be this color. So I don't think I'm going to take photos from my website yet. I mean, maybe I will, but I don't know. But if the color changes, I'll have to obviously change what I've got on the website, because I can't show a picture and then that's not really what it looks like at the end. So make sure you like and subscribe if you like to my videos. It does help me with YouTube, and if you don't, then YouTube doesn't know you love it. And all those things too, if you're a soap maker, candle maker, whatever maker you are, having all of these different channels does help your business too. I'm just going to pop that over that side so I can move these, and then we have to label them. So as I said before, what I actually did with these is I got all the same boxes, so the box looks like that and then that. So if I have an extra material, I will actually put a sticker over the back material, which I will for these salt ones because they have a different, you know, ingredients list to the others. And so what I actually do is, you know, like I said, they're all the same boxes for now. I only got, I think, 500 or something made. I've already gone through most of them, so the next ones will be colours. And then in here, I've just printed this out. This is on a clear paper. And I know this is annoying. Like, I know I'm going to have people say, well, you have to cut it. That's annoying. But you know what? Sometimes at the start, this is what you have to do. Not that I'm at the start, but if you can't afford to get packaging, well, you're just going to have to invest more of your time, and that has to go into the price, you know, of whatever you're selling. So for me, when you're paying for my product, you're paying for all these little things that I have to sit here and do. Anyway, I hope that makes sense to you all. So, and if you can kind of see, this is where it is. I know you can't see it because it's transparent, but I'll show you. And then what I do is I just cut one at a time, and then I'm just going to hold this, you know, in my hand. So then on the back of the package, so if you can kind of see it like that, then all I do is I get this transparent and I just put it on the side so then they can see what it is. So, and so you can see that's, you know, if your color was, let's pretend you want a box that's all a craft colored box, you could do that and literally just get a, and these are Cricut, these are from Cricut, I think. So, and then that's what you can do. And it still looks really professional. It looks like it's part of the box. It doesn't look like you've just stuck a big pink or blue sticker down the side, because that can make it look a little bit cheap. But anyway, that's how I do mine for now. But in the future, like I said, I will have other boxes done. And to make sure that you measure your boxes properly. So I'll show you in a minute. what I had to do with one of mine is I got excited and put these beautiful big tops on the soap, and then they wouldn't fit in the box. I literally had to cut the top of the soaps off. So yeah, you have to kind of think of those things when you're making something. Even though you think, wow, it looks so beautiful, at the end of the day, we want to make sure that you can close the top of the box. So, and I'll show you in a minute if you want. You'll be able to see my line of soap. You probably can see it in the background. So I have one massive line in here of soap. I am actually looking at getting a new counter in here, so I don't have a counter against one wall. But what will actually happen is that will actually help me to make things on one side, and I'll be able to teach people. So if you can kind of see, that's what it looks like, and then that's the back. But obviously the back, I'm going to have to change the ingredients list because that's not for a salt bar. But when I made them, I made it for my main recipe. And your recipe will be individual to what you like. But generally, my recipe, I generally use 40 to 45% olive oil. I use castor oil in my soaps, avocado oil, organic cocoa butter, organic shea butter, and I'm just thinking whether I put anything else in it. I think that's it. Sometimes I do even put jojoba oil in. So, but you know, you have to, actually a really good video if you really want to understand properties of soap. I just seen Muddy Mint just put one out on the properties, and she goes through soap calc and why to use things. And I actually thought that was a really, really good video. I think they did a really good job at explaining, you know, all about different soaps, and, you know, like not just choosing an oil because you like the name of it, but choosing it because it's going to add something to your soap. Now, oh, look, I want to talk about this, everyone. I know if you're soap makers, you're going to be so interested. The other day on a Facebook group, what actually happens, there was a Facebook group and a lady said, I'm going to make soap. What kind of price should I charge for my soap? And I said, well, basically, how long's a piece of string? It depends on your materials, depends on many things, and so on. Anyway, other people in the group, and this should be a bit of a warning to people. Many other people said, oh, well, I only charge $5 or $6. I want my soap to be affordable to any person, but which is fine. And, I've heard a lot of things like this in the past, but you know what? You have to think about your business. You have to think about what does it cost you to make, and can you make money? Because it might be nice to try and give everyone affordable soap, but that's not a very good business model. If you really want this to be a business, you need to really understand what it costs you to make the product and what you need to sell it for. If somebody wanted to buy all of my soap for $5 a bar, I would go out of business. I wouldn't make enough money. And the thing is too, I sell wholesale. So if I'm selling a bar of soap for $11, that means wholesale, they're only paying $5.50 wholesale. And then on top of that $5.50, I might lose 25% if I'm selling unfair because they charge fees. So I hope that kind of makes sense. So don't just listen to what other people say. Like, just add your products, all of the materials together, your time and, the box, everything else adds money. And then charge for that. Because when people say they're charging $6, well, their bar of soap might be 50 grams, not 100 grams. Their soap may not have natural cocoa butter. It may be made with fats, and they might have a farm that they can produce the fats off the animals to use instead of that. Making a palm soap is cheaper than making palm-free. Vegan soaps cost more money because there's, we're using like cocoa butter, which we all know is outrageously expensive at the moment, and shea butter. They all cost a lot of money. So anyway, hopefully that kind of just gives you all a little bit of something to think about. Now, I know, I think it's actually Marie in America. She is an amazing soap person. If you really want to learn, just watch even her videos on YouTube. She does, not YouTube, I think she does them on Instagram. And, you know, she's very inspirational what you can do just making soap. She doesn't have a fancy box or anything like that. She has standard just cigar wraps on them. But they still look beautiful, and she's obviously made a name for herself. She has a lot of followers. And some of her soap bars are $16 or $17 Australian. So I also have a lovely friend who's a great soap maker in Dubai. And what they do is their bars are like $24 a bar in Dubai. So, but, you know, they're not trying to target everyone. They're trying to target a more lucrative client. So that's the thing. What I'm saying, you know, bars are so, the cost you're going to charge will really depend on your clients, what's going in the bar. I've heard of people charging $2. Honestly, I could not make a bar of soap for $2. These cost more than that just to make the bar. Because of the oils and things that I'm using in them. So, not that I want to harp on and make anyone feel bad, but I just thought, look, it really did shock me, and it does shock me when people say, how much should I charge? It's like, you kind of need to do your numbers yourself. There's so many variables in making any product, you know. I mean, I can make a shampoo bar, but it doesn't mean my shampoo bar is the same as someone else's. You know, same as my bath bombs. My bath bombs are made with jojoba oil. It costs more money to use that than it does for a cheap rice bran oil. And I know some people use rice bran in bath bombs. Anyway, it's all relative, isn't it, friends? So, let's keep going with this. And this is called Pine Salt Stream. I did think I wanted to give it a cute name. I couldn't think of a name. But it does have like a pine kind of scent to it. And so on. Some of, look, and this was going to say to you, see this one here, like it's too high, so I'm going to have to give that a little trim. That will not, I can't close the box on that one. So that's what I mean. If you can't close the box, then you kind of need to trim it down. So I'll have to think of that next time when I make my soap. And generally I make about 5 kilos in one go with soap. Remember, you can make soap and it can last for years sitting in a box. But always try and keep it in a dry, cool place. So even in summer, that one won't close either because it's got too much of a little funny bit on top. Anyway, I hope you've all enjoyed watching. Oh, I will show you because I did promise, didn't I? Now, it is a bit messy in here because it's the end of the year and I'm fixing things up. So this is where all my soap is here. I'm sorry I'm wobbling the camera. But hopefully you can kind of, that's not going to stay there. That was just, I've got to sort that out. So along this line here is literally where I keep all of the soaps. So you can see they're all the same packaging. So this one's coconut oats. Then I have Barry's Daughter. I don't have many Barry's Daughters left. Apricot lace. I don't have hardly any of that. That's a charcoal one. And one of my most popular ones is one that, it's an exfoliating one that I put, oh, I've got to think what it's called in it now. Olive nuts. So it's olive grind. That's really, really popular. So then these little darlings will go up next. I'll have to make a little space for them. And I'll show you my other bar. This one I made ages ago. I'll probably give them to my son. They're really big, chunky bars. And these are an exfoliating large bar. So I might even make some exfoliating ones because these are beautiful. These honestly are so lovely to use. But these are mica, and in the future I won't be using mica. you know, I will be trying to use natural colorants. We will see how we go. Anyway, I've enjoyed speaking to you all. I hope you're doing amazing. Have a wonderful Christmas, a safe one, and I'm going to see you in the new year. Bye, friends.